Hello, my name is Pamela Carrillo. My project-based learning activity is called Estudiando en Otro País. This is a brief study of a Spanish-speaking country in Latin America. The student has an opportunity to pick a country he or she would like to be a foreign exchange student in and do some research. It can be used in any Spanish language class. Tasks can be modified to fit the needs of the group level. Work will be done through a blog site exploring student exchange websites and introducing themselves to host family. The student will also find an e-pal from their country to exchange information with. Student will create a digital photo album to share with the class. Research will also be done on travel costs to and from the selected country, including any documents needed. Objectives are pretty clear. Students will be utilizing computer technology and web applications to aid in their research. They will practice these skills in the use of any future research and to become more familiar with resources on the web. Students will be practicing Spanish language skills. They will also be able to practice interacting personally and professionally with their e-pal. And students will write a descriptive summary to their host family, a little bit of information about themselves so that the family would know who they were when they get there. Here is a sample timeline. The timeline includes tasks and all subtasks. I did divide it into weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but this project could be modified and be done in a week's time or maybe 2 weeks' time, and you could just make it into days instead of weeks. The tasks and subtasks are not that difficult to where they wouldn't actually need a whole week's worth of work. I just thought maybe one day in a computer lab would be ideal for a long-term project that could keep them energized throughout the 6 weeks. Tasks and milestones. This area is pretty clear. I think it's pretty informative to the teacher teaching this as to direction and guidance for the student. It starts off with task 1, getting started, of course, teacher instruction. About 10 minutes of that to go over the basics of what we're looking for, explain this chart to them, show them where it's located. That same day they would spend time researching the countries of interest and picking one they wanted to focus on. You could give them a list of resources to use. I like, the school library, the Library of Congress website, Google, ask.com, travel books or magazines. And this milestone includes a blog. In this blog, they'd be talking about where their country was located, providing info such as bodies of water, historical sites. This, I said that this study could be interchanged in between different levels of Spanish groups, and right here would be one area where you could change it. What you could do is, if it's, a first year or for a level 1 Spanish student, you could have them do this blog in English. If you were a Spanish 2, if you felt a little bit more confident with the information they could provide writing in Spanish, then definitely they could do it in Spanish. And of course, anything beyond that, I would have them write the blog completely in Spanish so that they're also practicing their Spanish language writing skills while they're learning this information about their Spanish-speaking country. While they're doing this research, we do ask that they be on the lookout for pics for a digital photo album. Anything creative, anything that's of interest to them. Of course, you probably need to remind them to be appropriate. And we want them to keep track of where they found each photo. They would upload these 2 pics to their digital photo album and write descriptions or captions of what we are looking at. Task 2 would be for week 2 as well. They would start looking for an e-pal, a student of their own age, to communicate with their e-pal and learn about the life in his or her country. They would exchange information on location, popular music, favorite food. Some websites they could look at would be like learn.org, KeyPals, or ePals. They do want to blog about their experience with their e-pal. My hope would be that the exchange student would communicate back to them in the Spanish language so that our student could get a better experience and practice reading the Spanish language. Subtask 2, they need to start commenting on peers from their, or, I'm sorry, on blogs from their peers. That from task 1, we expect at least 2 comments from each of their peers. Then this blog that they would create for themselves would be questions, comments, things they find interesting. I'm sorry, that's what they would be blogging to their, commenting on their peers' blogs about. They would also work on their digital photo album. We're expecting 2 more pictures on their photo album this week. Task 3 is to research different student foreign exchange program websites. Look at the time frames, prices, what they have to offer. You can go into a search engine like Google and search for foreign exchange student program sites. There are plenty of sites that have some, are only for Europe, some are only for Spanish, so they'd also get an idea of what they need to be looking for. They would blog about their findings, which site they would choose and why. Subtask 3.1 right here would be to comment on 2 of their peers' blogs from task 2. Again, questions, comments, things they find interesting in their peers' blogs. The next subtask 3.2 is to work on their digital photo album. Again, at this point they should have 2, 4, 6 digital photo album, digital pictures in their photo album. Task 4 is write a descriptive summary in Spanish using the form said. Pretend you are telling a family that will host you in your chosen country about yourself. This is a good opportunity for them to practice their Spanish again, writing and language. They can use their textbook, Spanish English Dictionary, the 501 Spanish Verbs book. This descriptive summary, we will ask that they blog about it, share their summary with the classmates on here. The next subtask is to comment on their peers' task. They will be asking questions again. Then work on more digital photo albums, upload more pictures. Task 5, research travel costs to get to and from the selected destination. Will they be driving, flying, going by train, by boat? They could use websites such as Expedia.com, Orbitz, Travelocity, which gives lots of options on how to get to many places. They would blog about the most cost-effective way to get to their destination and tell us about where they found this information. The next subtask is, again, commenting on peers' blogs, and the next subtask is working on the digital photo album. For task 6, their final will be to present their digital photo album to the class, and they are expected to blog about what their favorite part of this project has been, and then comment on 2 of their peers' blogs from task 5. Here is a rubric for student work, a basis on what the teacher will be looking for each student. We are going to grade them on their blogs, their time management, their descriptive summary, and their digital photo album. The blogs, of course, poor would be if they're not completing a lot of the blogs or if it's vague and unorganized. We will be looking at spelling and grammar as well. Fair, student blogs are all completed, information is vague and unorganized, spelling and grammar are fair, 4 references used are listed. It goes up from there, more references each time to get to excellent. Time management, student did not use time wisely and most tasks were not completed. That would be in the poor section right here. Then we'll go up from there, mostly use time wisely, 2 or more tasks not turn in on time. Time used wisely, but 1 task not turn in on time, and then student used all time efficiently, and all tasks were turned in on time. The descriptive summary, the reason I made the descriptive summary such a big one was because it should be a longer blog, and it is expected to be in Spanish, no matter which Spanish level language class I would be teaching, and spelling and grammar would be looked at. Work needs to be detailed and polished, and to get to excellent over here. The digital photo album, we started with the poor section right here, which would be provided only half of the pictures required, no descriptions given. Not all the pictures were related to the topic. The next would be provided 5 to 7. The digital album, no descriptions given, not all the pics were related. The next provided all 10 pics in the digital album, not all descriptions were provided. And the next one was they did provide all pictures with the digital album, a brief description, and link to websites where the picture were found. And that is the rubric which would be listed under the assessment section here. This next section is under student work, and what you can do is have the site I used is Weebly, so I was able to create an area where I could put an administrator in there and have the student go in, and they can either put their digital photo album in here and should provide captions like this right here. There was an option in there to provide the caption of what it is. Or you could use any other website you wanted to use and just post a link to it in here so they could have access to it at all times. And the other great thing about Weebly is that it allows you to put a blog in there where anyone who gets on here could actually blog. This is where the students blog and put in their assignments. That is all for today, folks. Thank you for your time. Please leave any comments in here. And the website is learningspanish101.weebly.com/blog.html. Thank you so much.